WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have a whiskey from Ireland. Today I have Lichtburg, #1. So this is a German bottler named Ralf Kaspar, GmbH. And this is the single malt Irish whiskey Marika, a single cask, aged 15 years in ex-Armagnac cask, provided by Jack Teeling, by the way, in Dublin. And this is then series #1 of this time only 532 bottles, and I have bottle number 198 here in my hand. Now, let me just pour a tiny little bit, and then I'm going to talk about a different bottling. Not the comparison bottling, but actually the predecessor to this. This was called the Hotel Essenhof, and this was also from Ralf Kaspar, GmbH, and this is actually then the number 14 of their series. 15 and 16 has already come out, and I think 13 was missing or so. So this is actually a 20-year-old rum-finished or rum-matured Irish whiskey. I still have to do my video about this, but they've now completed this series except for the one that is missing. And so they started a new series this time called Lichtburg. Lichtburg is actually a is a cinema in Essen, a city here in Germany, in the western part of Germany, and this is to commemorate what was going on when the very first, and you see in the picture here, maybe a little bit the people here, this was actually a cinema that was opened in 1928, and I had 2,000 visitors on that first day. I've actually been in that cinema once in my life. That was 30 years ago. Shows how long I've been in Germany. So this was actually distilled on the 3rd of May 2005. This was bottled on the 24th of June 2020. Took a little while for it to get over from Ireland to Germany. And this is actually in an ex-Armagnac cask. Now, I'm not the best expert about Armagnac, but Armagnac is a certain wine region in France. 15,000 hectares. And it's been actually, the first mention of Armagnac goes back way before cognac, way back to 1461. So Columbus sailed the ocean blue 1492. So this was mentioned. They were making Armagnac before Christopher Columbus was actually sailing the ocean blue. And since 1909, they have a certain region that has been set up in France, just like they with cognac, and just like they do with champagne, that only the bottle things made there can actually be called Armagnac. So the Armagnac is only distilled once, which I did not know. Cognac can be distilled twice, and Irish whiskey is distilled 3 times, up to 3 times. So what we have here is actually, the problem is the cask size. What really surprised me was there's one of 532 bottles. Now, if I take a look at a normal cask from bourbon, I get maybe 280 bottles out of a 225 liter max cask. So the casks there go from 225 to up to 420 liters. So it could be bigger. And what they have actually is a very interesting European oak that they use for this, mainly for the first 6 years, and then they can refill them into refilled or used casks to enlarge or to expand the duration that the Armagnacs actually mature. Usually this hold between 6 and 30 years of age. I once had an Armagnac. I have it still here. This is an Armagnac from the SMWS. It was A2.2, and it was a 30-year or 30-plus-year-old Armagnac, and it was beautiful. So, I just might do this with us here. I'm going to actually pour the Armagnac and actually have a comparison here. So this is 57.5% alcohol by volume, ABV, and it's sold in Germany here for 99 euros and 95 cents. So $100. That's a lot of money to pay for a 15-year-old cask strength Irish whiskey. The question, though, is it worth it? I'm going to smell. It is. This is so good. There are just some moments where I smell a whiskey and I taste a whiskey and I just kind of go, yeah, bingo, bam, this is what I need, this is what I want. Now, interesting. All right, good. I just smelled the Armagnac. I'm going to go over here to my comparison whiskey, And it's actually here something that's very, very difficult or no longer possible to get. A Tullamadu. This is the Phoenix. This is 55% whiskey and ABV. And I have the bottle here. And so I'm just going to pour a little bit in here. Sorry about the reflection there. So I do not have any Irish whiskey from Armagnac. My bottle's almost empty. Forgive me. So I have here the Tullamadu. Comparison whiskey, 55%. Very difficult to get, but I have a bottle here. We have an Armagnac in the middle, and over here we have the Lichtburg, which we can now compare with each other. It just makes more sense if I kind of go in the middle here. All right. I have difficulties describing Armagnac. It's for me a honey. It's for me a type of melon. It's for me malt and wood together. Now, I actually had a little bit of my grandmother used to make a rhubarb and strawberry pie. And the rhubarb and the strawberry together and put a little bit of gooseberries in there. And that's what you're getting as well. I don't know if that helps, but it's a very, very unique, a very, very special nose, which I personally, this is actually something that I could smell for a long time. Days is what I wanted to say. So going here to my Armagnac, I'm going to coat the glass. Oh, this is even better. This is really old stuff. This is good. Oh, I need to drink some more. I need to buy some Armagnac. This is some good stuff. Question of the day, what other bottles do you know, or whiskey bottlings do you know with Armagnac in there? I'm going to have to go buy something. I mean, this is some really, really good stuff. I think it was Iron Root. Did they play around with Armagnac? I'm not sure who else played around with it. The Tullamadu Phoenix is, it seems bland. It seems vanilla. It seems like vanilla frosting a little bit. Very sweet. This has a depth, a complexity, a structure to it, which is something I really, really enjoy. All right, cheers. The first thing that I realized is the 57.5% beautiful. I'm not complaining. I'm not whining. I'm not saying, oh no, it's too hot. Beautiful. The second thing that really, really strikes me as a great moment is it does this. It gets better. The finish is actually better than the original mouth entry moment. The original mouth entry moment is still here, and it goes up. This is a solid B. So if you don't know my grading system by now, A is why haven't you bought it? B is buy it. This is a whiskey I would recommend to buy. Even though it's 100 euros, this is still one of those things that is just like, this is so good, buy it. A C is you can buy it if you want, D is you don't need to buy it, and F, why was that stuff even made? So I'm going to give this actually a C for the value for money. 100 euros is a lot of money to lay down on the table, but this is worth it, my personal opinion. Really, really nice. I haven't even mentioned the whiskey base number. This is 173794, by the way. So whiskey base 173794 if you need to look. There's a total, as I said, of 532 bottles. Now, if I go back to the Essenhof series, if you go to various whiskey auction sites, either in England or also here in Germany, whiskeyauction.com, for example, from one of my friends named Thomas Kruger that started that in 1997, you'll always find at least one of these bottles of the 14, 15, 16 that have been online, that have been released so far, they're online. You can buy these bottles in the secondary market for about 30-40% price increase. So if you want to buy one of these bottles, you can also contact maybe the person who imported this is Ralph, www.ralf, I think it's Caspar, Kaspar.com, and they actually have bottles, and they might actually send them to England or Europe. I don't know if they'll send it to the United States or Australia or any place else you're watching. But there's actually the possibility that this bottle is still available at this moment. I bought two. I shared two of them already with my friends. I'm going to go buy a third one of these, just put it away for good times in the future. This is very, very nice. I'm going to go to the Armagnac. As I said, this is then SWMS. This was a present here, or a gift to me. Here's my little bottle here. And it was A2.2. So you can look that up as well. This has such a beautiful, beautiful type of, I'm going to call it a pine forest. It's almost like the Black Forest. It has that pine tree moment. It's not overpowering. It's not a green birch twig that's just too not yet mature, but it's a little bit of a pine. Mm. Mm. I need to try Armagnac a little bit more. All right, very, very good stuff. Some of you just watch my videos for the comparison whiskeys here. I don't know if you can get this or not. This was available for a couple years ago. Now this actually smells, as I said, very vanilla, as in a little bit bland, a little bit plain compared to this. It is 55%. It is triple distilled. Back then, Talamoudu wasn't made in the William Grant and Sons factory in Ireland, Talamoudu, but rather at the Middleton factory. So this is triple distilled, as I said there, and it's actually bottled here at 55%, which is a good ABV for an Irish whiskey. 57.5 in my case. In this case is actually better. It's not bad. There's a tiny little bit of a tired wood moment towards the end, but there's a sweetness and there's a maltiness and there's a tiny little bit of a sugar moment. Not bad, not bad. I bought this off a friend of mine, Jürgen, thank you very much. And they're very, very difficult to get because they've been no longer produced for many, many years. But going back to something that was produced recently, and that is still good, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a tiny little bit of water in this, take it down to about 48%. Klutz. Now, this whiskey doesn't get worse with water. It doesn't get much better with water. It gets a tiny little bit more silky, and it actually lasts a little bit longer as well. This is something you can reduce, but you don't have to reduce. Other whiskeys I've had that are cask strengths are like, I've introduced this nice little hotness meter, or metric, and absolutely not the case here. Mm. 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 It still does this. I really, really like that finish. This is very, very nice. This is one of those surprisingly good whiskeys that get better in the finish than they are actually on the palate. And therefore, I'm going to give it, as I said, a B. I'm going to give it a C for the value for money. So if you can find this whiskey, buy it. My personal opinion. This is something I can recommend, and this is something I'm going to buy another bottle of myself. Good. Question of the day, what other whiskeys from Ireland do you know of that have cognac finishes? Or any other country, by the way. I know that the Teeling Revival, I think it was number 4, it might have been number 5, had a cognac finish. I know Lambay from Ireland also have a cognac finish, but which other ones have? And the second question I'm going to ask today, just have 2 for you, is what Irish whiskey with 55% or more do you like? So we have 55% or more ABV do you like? Thank you very much for watching. WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Thank you very much for watching. Share and tell others about this crazy guy over here in Europe tasting things you might not ever see. Bye-bye.